Hello, beautiful people. Another day, another video. And in this video, I want to share my thoughts about servicing. So this morning, I was doing my morning meditation, and I could feel there was a lot of stress and tension inside my body. I was really focused on the feelings inside myself. I felt tense, I felt stressed, I felt sad, I felt stuck. And all of a sudden this idea came to me. It was almost this mantra, this voice in my head which told me that, hey, it's not about you, it's about them. And all of a sudden, when this idea struck me, immediately all the tension in my body, I could feel it drop. Like I was paying attention to the tension in my body, and I could feel it drop immediately when this thought came to my mind. And I realized that, hey, you have been so stuck up in your own world, in your own perspective, in your own pettiness or in your own suffering, that you completely lost track of others. And for me personally, it can really make a huge difference if I take my focus off myself and allow my mind to open up to the suffering of others. And all of a sudden I realized that, hey, you are suffering and other people are suffering too. They are maybe suffering even more, right? And this idea that, okay, the realization that it's about others, it's about servicing others. If I am so stuck up in my own suffering, then there is no space to help others with theirs, right? And for me, this is a core value I have. I want to reduce people's suffering in the world. So for me, it's a very useful thought to have and to realize that it's not about me, it's about others. I could feel almost like my mind open itself up to the rest of the world in a way, right? And this instantly reduced the amount of tension and pressure I felt inside myself. And it got me thinking that it is a very interesting quote. It's not about you, it's about them. Because it can apply to very different situations. For example, this situation where I was so caught up in my own thoughts that I completely lost track of the rest of the world. And your small problems, your suffering can start to take on such massive proportions when you lose track of everything around yourself, right? That if you can bring your attention to servicing others, to knowing that, okay, you are not the only person suffering on this planet, and there's a lot of other people suffering from similar things or worse, or I mean, sometimes it's not good to quantify, to try to quantify the amount of suffering if it's more or less. That's usually something that I try to avoid. But your suffering can take on such massive proportions if you lose track of the world that you're living in, right? Because ultimately, everybody is sometimes suffering and struggling. Everybody has a hard time. So you're not the only one. So if you can project your suffering outwards and not project it onto others, but if you can use your suffering and transform it into a modality to understand others, their suffering, then it can be a very powerful tool. And it can really get you out of your own tunnel vision and your own suffering. And it can open up your channels, your energy. It can open up your body, your mind, your consciousness. And this is exactly what happened when this idea came to me in this very moment. So I felt like I wanted to talk about this because it can be a very powerful tool whenever you feel so stuck in your own suffering, in your own mess. Take a moment to realize that it's not about me, it's about them. Let me focus on servicing others. So after my meditation, I immediately called a friend. I shared my appreciation and gratitude for what he's doing in the world. I called another person. I shared my thoughts with her. So these feelings are very profound and very powerful when you realize them in real time, when you experience them in real time. It can be a very profound experience. And it got me thinking about this saying, this quote even more. It's not about you, it's about them. In another situation where, for example, somebody is trying to attack you or trying to blame you or trying to cause you harm, usually it's not about you, it's about them when that happens. They are feeling like they're in a bad place. They don't even, sometimes they don't even know that they are in a bad place. So usually people who feel good in their own skin, who are grateful, who are at peace, who are compassionate, they don't go out there inflicting pain and suffering onto others. No, they are graceful, they are resourceful. They are not acting from a place of lack. But the people who do, the people who are experiencing tremendous suffering and fear and anger and guilt and shame, they go out there in the world and they project their pain onto others. So usually when I encounter somebody with a lot of negative energy or someone who feels as if they are trying to cause me harm, immediately I go into this state of mind where I understand it's not about me, it's about them. And especially, this especially helps when you put extra attention to the fact that it's not personal. It's not about me personally that they are trying to make me feel bad, you know. They're probably doing it to a lot of people in their lives, a lot of people they meet. Why? Because they are coming from a place of lack, their vibration, they're resonating with these lower vibrational energies, these lower vibrational emotions, and they want to bring people to their level. They want to resonate on the same frequency, right? If you're feeling sad and angry and you attack someone, you try to get them angry or sad too, so you can resonate at the same frequency. That is ultimately what you're trying to do. So people who are peaceful and resonating on these higher frequencies, they don't get affected by that as much. And they especially don't go out there in the world to try to bring people to the level of frequency that where anger and sadness and guilt and shame are situated, right? So this quote, it's not about you, it's about them. It's such a powerful example of how language can be applied to so many different situations and how powerful language can be sometimes, right? Because through the language, I can experience a complete shift in how I feel. And it was really such a profound, real-time, real-life experience for me to be sitting there all tense up. This thought strikes me. It's not about you, it's about them. And immediately I can feel the tension dissipate. And it puts me into this servicing mode. Servicing others, community, care for others, compassion, kindness. All these higher emotions immediately came to me. And it's very, very good to not forget this. So that's why I share it. I think it's important to talk about this, to remember this, to be remembered, right? Whenever you feel like you are caught up in your own suffering, in your own thinking, in your own struggles, you could try to set it aside for a moment and think, it's not about me, it's about them. And try to avoid feeling guilty about it, right? Because you can also start to guilt trip yourself. Oh, I'm so selfish, I'm only thinking about myself, and what a bad person am I for doing that. That is not going to help you. No, it's more about realizing and understanding that, oh, I've been so caught up in my own small little world, my own suffering all the time. Let me open it up a little bit. Let me realize and remember that I am not alone in this. And I can transform the pain into service. And I believe that servicing others, if your intentions are pure, even if it helps you feel better about yourself, that is one of the most beautiful things in the world, right? If you can truly, honestly, genuinely offer your service to others for the betterment of their well-being, I think that's a very, very profound thing to be doing in this world. And so this thought, this quote, this idea can really shift your frame from this small, boxed prison into a more open, energetically more powerful state of being, where you feel so much more relaxed, so much more at peace, so much more driven and motivated. And it was very, very, very real, this feeling, this shift in my body, this shift in my awareness, this shift in my mindset, my state of mind. It was absolutely incredible. So that's why I wanted to share this with you. And to summarize, I would like to put it into a cohesive set of practical steps you can take, because sometimes these discussions, they can be a little bit up in the air, and a lot of people, they like when it's a bit more practical. So whenever you feel like you get lost in your own thoughts, in your own suffering, I'm struggling with this person is not acting the way I want them to, I'm worried about this and that, all these things, you. Allow yourself to be in that state. Don't resist it. But at some point, try to step out of it a little bit and think, remember this quote. It's not about me, it's about them. Remember this quote. And you will see that, oh, of course, there's so many other people suffering with probably the same things that I'm suffering with, or other things. And it's not all about me. It's not all about me. It's about everyone living together on this beautiful planet, right? And everybody is trying their best. Everybody is trying to get closer to love. That's what it is. You are, your neighbors are, your family are, your friends are, everybody is. And some people are doing it in an unconscious, unaware way, and some people are doing it more aware and more conscious and more mindful. And this is also one of the purposes of this channel, is to provide you with tools to embark on this journey with more awareness, expand your consciousness, be more mindful about how you conduct yourself in the world. And in injecting this idea in your mindfulness practice from time to time can really shift your awareness, it can really shift your focus. And if you practice meditation on a daily basis, I highly recommend you do that. You can experience this shift in awareness in real time, and trust me, it's incredible to feel it, to really feel it. You have to really feel it in order to know it, to understand it. And that's why I want to share it with you, so the idea can enter your mind and you can give it a try, and you can feel transformed because of that. And this can be such a powerful driving force to allow yourself to go and conduct yourself in the world with an orientation to service others, to really truly service others. I think there is so much fulfillment and meaning to be found in that. And I was watching one of my older videos about getting out of bed and struggling with getting out of bed. It's usually when people feel in a depressed state, or when they are heavily depressed, there is no motivation to get out of bed. And you want to be careful and caring and gentle with yourself. You don't want to guilt trip yourself for being in the bed all the time. It's mostly because you feel unworthy, you feel you're a fear. What are you afraid of? This is a great question to ask yourself when you're unable to get out of your head, when you're unable to get out of your bed, when you feel stuck, what are you afraid of? Really, really think about that. And for myself, I've went through multiple stages and phases where I had a difficult time getting out of bed, where I had a difficult time getting out of my head, where I felt stuck in the suffering. And sometimes I still do, like today, this morning. But what then gets you out of that is understanding you're worthy, you're a valuable human being, and you have something to offer to this world. And every day you wait to offer what you have to offer to this world, you rob the people from the joy they could experience if you would feel free enough and if you were brave enough to actually make it a reality. So what are you afraid of? For me, I was afraid of accepting what I stand for. I was afraid of the rejection that people would communicate towards me if they would see that I am recording these videos. You know, what are you talking about? Oh, it's such stupid topics. I don't, you know, these fears, all these fears, they were keeping me stuck. I felt unworthy. I felt I was afraid to be rejected. I felt I was afraid that I would not be able to provide the value that I would want to provide, you know, this perfectionistic tendencies, so many fears. What are you afraid of? I was afraid of that. And then I started doing, I reach out, I talk with people, I reflect. And then after a while you understand that, well, this fear is tremendously boring in a way. It's always the same. It says, no, stop. You can't do this. It's not good. Stop. Stop, stop, stop. Be in bed, don't get out. Stop waking up. Stop getting out of your head. This fear gets you stuck, but it's boring. So at some point you understand that, okay, it's always the same spiel. Let me try something different. And the fear never goes away. I'm still afraid to record these videos, to talk about the things that I talk about. But I decided to do it despite the fear. I decided to be brave, to choose to be brave. Because I think that bravery is such a profound something. It's acting despite being afraid. And there is this quote, I can't remember by who it was, but it is, do the things that make you feel alive, because the world needs more people to feel alive, or something. I'm probably absolutely butchering the quote, but it's very true. You don't want to stay stuck and small and fearful. You want to allow yourself to do the things that make you feel alive. And doing this, it makes me feel alive. So why would I not do it? And there is a great added benefit of hopefully helping other people with this, servicing others. And it allows me to get out of my head and get unstuck. So when you feel stuck, remember this thought. It's not about you. It's about them. So thank you for watching. Thank you for being brave. Thank you for looking inwards and thus making the world a better place one step at a time. And as always, thanks for watching, guys.